Let's try to bend the regular screen, yeah? Oh. Yeah.
Hello guys and welcome to volokinproject. Today we're going to talk about the Foldgate and why it happened at the first place. Now, in case you have no idea what I'm talking about, the brand new Samsung Galaxy Fold, you know, the folding phone with a butterfly wallpaper, folds in half and the display folds with it and breaks within just 2 days, as reported by the big guns which have been sent review units early. Nobody cares about my opinion, as I'm a small fish, but you know, outlets like the Bloomberg, the Verge, MKBHD, this and that, all of them have problems with their devices, and God knows how many more, because everybody who has already got the Samsung Galaxy Fold, he has received his device for free for Samsung for testing. Now, what usually the companies do, like LG for example, they send the devices like 2 weeks earlier and they said you're gonna publish the reviews or the unboxings or whatever it is on the, let's say, 20th. But what Samsung did, because they were rushing to push their folding phone into the market before Huawei, because that's their main competitor at the moment, is they rushed the production of the Samsung Galaxy Fold. They recently unveiled it about a month ago and it wasn't even ready. They just showed it on a shadowy background and nothing could be seen, and suddenly the phone is ready for production and is going to be starting to be shipped on the 26th of April, just in about 1 week time. But what happens is that people who have been using this phone for about 2 days, they've got different issues with the screen. In some cases it cracks in half, in some cases the top layer of the screen starts to peel off. And let me explain of why that happens. Now, in order to have a flexible display, first of all, you cannot use LCD. LCD stands for liquid crystal display, and in order for the LCD to function, it has to have a top layer of glass on top, which acts as the digitizer itself. So in order to eliminate that, because the phone has to be foldable, Samsung had to go with the Super AMOLED screen, which is a technology which the top layer actually is integrated within the screen and it allows the phone to flex a little bit. In case you don't remember, a few years ago LG came up with the LG G Flex. It had a bent screen, but it was basically static. It didn't go anywhere, it was bent, and after that another layer of glass was put on top of it and it was like that. It was a little bit flexible, you could flex it a little bit, but some units were failing as well, so it wasn't really recommended. Remember the Samsung Galaxy Round? Of course you don't. Samsung actually experimented and they made a competition to LG, issuing the Samsung Galaxy Round. They rounded it, the screen on the other side. Of course nobody remembered this device because it flopped. Nobody was asking for it, nobody wanted it, and they couldn't sell any of those phones, guys. Now, a few years later, Samsung experimented with the Samsung Galaxy Edge and it turned out to be quite successful. That's why they've implemented this bent screen technology with the Samsung Galaxy S6 and S7 Edge and S8 and S9 and later on like that. But for the Samsung Galaxy Fold, they had to come up with something new, and what they've done is essentially they've put a plastic screen protector on top of the AMOLED screen and they called it a day. Now that's a huge mistake because Motorola just a few years ago released the Motorola Z Force and the Z2 Force after that, advertising an unbreakable display, and basically they've done the same. On the AMOLED screen, instead of glass, they just stick another layer of plastic and call it an indestructible screen, and Samsung did just the same. But in that particular case, Samsung is absolutely shameless to call that they've invented some sort of a new technology. Let me explain to you what they're saying in their website. A stunning 7.3-inch dynamic AMOLED display that defies expectations, made of a revolutionary polymer material layered for slim flexibility, is the largest Galaxy smartphone screen yet. Which means they just put another plastic layer on top of the screen in order to be bendable and to, you know, withhold, let me just see, 200,000 bends. But they're not very specific what exactly are they talking about. I think they're talking about the hinge itself, that it can endure 200,000 bends, but not the screen. They didn't say anything specific about the screen, guys. And voila, within just 2 days the screens started to fail, and that's to be expected, to be honest with you. Now what happens from now on? The very first day Samsung released an official statement saying that, just give me a sec, a limited number of early Galaxy Fold samples were provided to media for review. We have received a few reports regarding the main displays of the samples provided. We will thoroughly inspect these units in person to determine the cause of the matter. Of course they're gonna say that. Remember the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 fiasco, the exploding Note? Yes, of course you remember that. They said the same. They didn't admit anything in the beginning. They waited a little bit until a few people got hurt. Of course, no people will probably get hurt, I really hope, of this whole fiasco. But Samsung is going to do their best to cover up the story. But unfortunately, the technology isn't there yet, guys. You can't do nothing. Of course, LG has been advertising flexible displays for a few years, but to be honest with you, the technology is still not there yet. They're just using an AMOLED screen with a plastic layer on top of it, hoping that it's not going to break, but unfortunately it does. And if you're watching Jerry Rig Everything, of course you are, he's got almost 4 million subscribers, you learn that plastic scratches at a level 3. So you can imagine the screen itself, they've put a plastic layer on top, so every time you fold your screen like that, the pocket lint, the dirt, the hair and this and that is going to scratch that screen anyway. So within just a few days time you're gonna see massive scratches on your phone, let alone if you squeeze like that coins or something like that. You can imagine what your brand new shiny $2,000 device is going to look like. By the way, it's on pre-order on their American website. On the UK website there is absolutely no information about its pricing and when it's going to be available. But if you ask me, Samsung has to call off the whole project once and for all and try to sort out what is the actual reason, and of course it is the screen itself, so they just have to cancel the whole thing. Otherwise, if Huawei nails it this time, they already have, you know, high-end devices and they're going to attack fiercely, and if their product is better, you're gonna see the demise of Samsung and Huawei becoming the #1 brand in the mobile world production just within, let's say, the next year 2020, and Samsung is gonna go down the HTC, Sony, BlackBerry and Nokia routes, basically downhill. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, and stay tuned for more reviews and news on the Volokin Project channel. Thank you very much again for watching, guys, and see you later. Adios.